Hi, my name's Tyler, aka Thrifts and Tangles. Today we are at the Pasadena Showcase House. It's a beautiful home. I'm going to take you inside on a tour and we're going to see what kind of home design ideas we can get from this house. It's going to be super cute, super inspirational, especially if you're looking to update your home design, especially for the summer. All right, let's go inside. When we first enter the showcase house, we see this beautiful room. First of all, it's an English two-door estate, and it is 120 years old. So all of this woodwork is beautiful. They say that's what inspired all of the walnut woodwork, but I really like the ceiling mural, and it was just very whimsical with the little gold birds. It was very inviting, but it was giving a lot of charm. They had some really cool chandeliers, but off the rip, this was just an amazing way to enter the showcase house. Wow, this house is beautiful. And then the next room we walked into was the dining room. So the dining room was very deep, luxurious. They had some abstract paintings, which was cool. And it was contrasted with like cherub ceiling murals. And there were like cherubs kind of hidden throughout this room. But this room was definitely luxury fabrics, abstract paintings, but it was supposed to be like comfortable and elegant. But this one was really dark and deep, and it was definitely an interesting room overall. And there was a harp in there, and who didn't like a harp? Oh, and they had the most amazing chandelier. But they had a lot of pillows that were like velvet damask kind of style. Like it was very interesting to see, and just overall super glam, super elegant. Off of this room was the cutest sunroom. I love the use of florals. I'm a sucker for florals, but there were so many pretty floral details, whether it was on the pillow or on the curtains, and they just had flowers actually placed in the sunroom, and it had little pops of gold. Some people say they transformed the space into a captivating jewel box. I was like, yeah, that feels like it. But this just seems like such a cute room where you can just embrace the sunlight and read your little book. Next, we went into the veranda, and this, again, so much color was used. I love the pink and the florals. Like, I'm a sucker for all that, but if you looked up, they had really pretty greenery going off of the ceiling, which I was like, that's really cool. But something I thought was really interesting that they had a lot of in this room, where they had a lot of fruit sculptures, like little apples, and you could enter to win an apple, which I was like, I didn't have a business card, but I would have entered to win an apple. But I was like, are fruit trending this season? Or is that in right now? Like, it was just so fun, and I don't know, it added like a playful element to the space. But they also had a lot of lanterns, and then they had bird cages, which was really cool. And they had some cool floral tablescapes, but it was the most beautiful view. You're overlooking, like, the house is like on top of a hill, and so you could see all of the freeways and bridges and just all of the greenery, and this was just so amazing to see. And there were a lot of butterflies, which I used to love butterflies when I was little, so I really enjoyed seeing those as well. Yeah, pink and green, those were the color combinations of this room, and pink and green is a classic combo. You can't go wrong with that. Another room that I thought was really beautiful was the library lounge. So they had wood paneling, and this was like a sophisticated room, but they had board games and they had encyclopedias, and each bookshelf was decorated with such fun, like random little things. I was like, we can probably find a lot of random things at the thrift store to decorate with, but I like that they made it so they had encyclopedias and really cool things, but then they had like an R2-D2. So it felt like, I don't know, more of a lived family space, and they had board games. But this room, I like the contrast between the light couch and the wood paneling walls, and it had a really beautiful fireplace and like a unique little chess set. But yeah, that room was definitely comfy. And I like that they did a lot of mix and matching on the pillows. That's something I noticed in all the rooms. They weren't all matchy-matchy. Like, it was very eclectic and strategic, but it went together. The next room was really cool. It was a powder room, and it was kind of dark and whimsical. They had a floral wallpaper. This room was really cute, but when you go down the hallway, you see this really funky chair that's shaped like a hand, and it had a little rug on it, so they were embracing woods and textures. But then when you made a right turn, there was this really pretty bathroom that was green and white like wallpaper, and it was just kind of abstract and cool. Next, we went up the stairway, and this is the most epic stairway I have ever seen because it's the tallest window with the tallest green curtains. And I just said they embraced green, like all of the designers for the showcase. These curtains were so beautiful. I'm like, do I need a green? Do I want to paint my spot green? But it was so cute, and the chair was like kind of funky, and it had like a little pop of green. But what I really liked is they had these stacks of books, and they sorted the stacks of books by color. They had like a blue stack, a green stack, a red stack. And it just made me think of all the ways you could decorate a space with books that sometimes we don't think of. And the ceilings in this room were really amazing. Okay, the next room is the primary bedroom. This room was so light and airy when you walked into it. It felt, the room was huge, but I liked the use of plaids and florals. And again, they had stacks of books, but they also had wicker, which I don't think we really saw a lot of wicker in any of the other rooms. This room did a really good job implementing different textures, like even the rugs versus the floor, like had a cool texture. And I like the use of the blues and the greens. And again, I was like, oh, blue and green, that's a good combination. You can't go wrong with that. The next room was called the Romantic Chambers, but oh my goodness, this room was like eclectic, like no other. I think there was taxidermy in this room. There were butterflies in this room. Like there was like branches, there were mushrooms, there were bird cages. It was very deep, very eclectic, very ornate, but like it was also really cool to see in some of the things. And then the bathroom was just as ornate. The bathroom had the coolest bathtub I've ever seen. There's like this mushroom stool in the bathtub. It all kind of went together, but it was very unique. Some notable mentions for this video are the kitchen was really beautiful. The kitchen used blues for the cabinets, which I'd never seen before, and it was blues and silver appliances, and the kitchen overall was just really pretty. And the kitchen led out to a patio space that was all brick and just very pretty, very inviting, and they used a lot of floral dinnerware. So I'm like, okay, florals are always in, I feel like, for the summer and spring, but florals are just, you can't go wrong with florals. And I feel like a lot of people embrace the florals. But the next thing I do want to show you is the nursery. The nursery was so charming. They used a lot of pops of blues, but it was blues and whites. And they just had little bunnies and little animals, little giraffes, and a lot of stuffed animals. And the chandelier was so cool. The chandelier was like a hot air balloon, but the furniture was really regal, but then it was like still cutesy because they added the pops of blues and added little bugs. But I thought they did a really good job on the nursery. And then there was a garden. The garden had such a cute little greenhouse on the property. And there were a few gardens, because then they had another garden that it looked like it was supposed to be a fountain, but they planted in the fountain, which I thought that was really unique. And they also had a garden that had like unique little figurines. There's also a gatehouse. I'm going to show you one room from the gatehouse, the ponytail room. And it was a bedroom where they were just hand-painted. It was hand-painted ponies on the wall. And it was very like eclectic, but then kind of Western style. And it was just very unique. They played with branches and florals. So I just finished the tour of the Pasadena Showcase House. I hope that you enjoyed seeing all the beautiful rooms, all the beautiful decor. Last year I did a video of the Showcase House, but I did like items that you could thrift. And I think I'm going to do a part 2 of this video and show like some of the things that were like what I was inspired by that you could definitely thrift. But look how beautiful the gatehouse is right here. I'm in the garden. There's like flowers all around me. But there were so many different elements that I really enjoyed. Like I saw there were a lot of birds, and I really appreciated the use of color. I was like, the kitchen was blue and fun. The nursery had blues in it. There was a room with like horses that was dark, but like overall the house was really bright and airy. The designers really utilized color, but there were so many cute little elements that I'm like, okay, I can implement some of this into my own house, even in my own style, like add more color to my style. But the Showcase House is always such a fun time. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're ever in Pasadena, check out the Showcase House. And I just want to shout out a Vintage Splendor, because I didn't even know, I've lived in I don't live in Pasadena, I live near Pasadena, but I've been in this area for like 5 years now and I never even knew this thing existed. So if you're ever in Pasadena, check it out. And then I think a Vintage Splendor posted it to her stories once and I was like, ooh, that sounds right up my alley. So I started coming, but it's such a good time. And all of the funds, like the tickets and stuff, go towards funding art programs in the school districts in the area in California. So that's really a good cause. So yeah, it's such a beautiful day. It's kind of overcast too outside, but yeah, I had a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know which room was your favorite.